it, and what you're going to watch when the media uploads, and depending on the connection and depending on the size of the file, you may vary from anywhere from 20 seconds to 40 seconds to a minute to upload that onto your local server. Once it uploads, what we'll have the ability to do is then add data, manage that flip chart, and then make it available across the district. One of the things we also do is we have a built-in virus scan. So before that file is actually loaded onto the server, it has to be scanned. So we run a virus scan and make sure that it's an allowable file. Now it's in the system. So now I have uploaded this file directly into the Safari Montage server. Now I have the ability to add attributes to it. As you can see here, I can add descriptive information, rights information. I can add attachments. So if I have a Blackline master, or I built a teacher guide to go along with the flip chart, or maybe there's some worksheets, maybe there's a quiz sheet that you want to associate, I can actually associate them, and when we search on those files, they're going to be made accessible along with that file. I can also create my own quiz. If I don't have information, but I want to be able to create quiz questions and have them associated to the file I'm uploading, I can do it right here. I can add my standards correlation, so I can actually go in, pull the standards that I have identified that need to be correlated and associated to this document, and associate them as part of the search criteria. So now I have this test. So when I go back into my search, we're going to go verify that it's on the server. So I'm in the search. I'm going to hit search blanket. I want you to notice we had 15 flip charts before. We now have 16. So when I go down here, I'm looking for test 2, and there it is. That's the steps to upload content into the Safari Montage server. Now, once that content's in there, I can always go back and manipulate the information that's associated to it. So maybe some standards changed, or maybe you want to add some more descriptive information. I have the ability to come back into this file, add detailed description information to make it a little bit easier when you're doing a search and you want folks to know more about that information. I have the ability, here's the rights management. I can set expiration dates. I can set permissions to download it. If I want folks to be able to download this file to their local machine, or maybe I just want them to be able to view it. I have the ability to say who has permissions to share it, who gets to see it. I can set the attributes of how it's seen and how it's prioritized. I can also go up here and add rights management information. So if there's unique content that's within that file that we need to make sure that we're allocating and ensuring that we're following copyright, we can say what those rights are, what we have ownership to, and tag those into that individual file. And they're made accessible and viewable in that file. The other pieces, so we talked about it, here's where I can go to add standards correlation. So maybe when I uploaded that file, I didn't know exactly what standards I needed to go to. So I can go back in and edit, and I can add those standards. So no standards loaded. That's probably because I didn't have a state selected. But you can select which state you're in, and then select which standards you're modeling to, and then select the actual substandard that needs to be associated. So when you search, because I can come up here, and I can actually do a search, and I don't know why we're on Illinois, Jeff. We're in Florida.
I was going to ask that next question. That was one of my questions I was going to ask you. If I find a flip chart that's from the state of Illinois and I like it, and I pull it in, I'm going to want to put Florida standard.
So watch this. So I can go into my preferences, and I can change my default state. I can actually go up into my admin tools, and I can then select the standards that I'm associating my Montage server to.
Cool.
So we support all 49 states that have local state standards, so everybody but Iowa, and we have them correlated. We're aligned, and here's a good fact. We're aligned with academic benchmarks. It's the same tool that Promethean uses with Promethean Planet to align their standards correlation to flip charts that are on Planet. So the great thing about it, if you've pulled flip charts down from Planet,
yeah, Yes.
The meta tag data that's in there, the correlations that are in there, will align with the correlations that we have built into Safari Montage because we use the same set of GUIDs from the same correlation search engine. Okay? So back to looking at that. So when we're looking at this information, correlations, create your own quizzes, add your own subject reference material, as well as talking about adding the attachments so you can push and associate a variety of material associated to that flip chart or to that document that you're uploading. So the last piece I'm going to cover is talking about how do you take advantage of now the content, the images, the audio, the video files that are available and usable within the Safari Montage system, and leveraging them to create more dynamic digital content within your flip chart. So I'm going to take us back to the search. I'm just going to pick a video, and I'm going to show you some of those attributes of how you can leverage a video and embed it into a flip chart. So I'm not going to embed the entire video, because what happens when you start to embed video into your file, into your flip chart? What happens to the size of your flip chart?
It's huge.
It's gigantic. And the second you start to manage those or try to share those or push those, guess what happens? District IT staff goes, what do you think you're doing? Right?
Yeah,
So,
that's my job. No, we can't do that.
good point. So, here's what we have. I'm just going to pick an individual image. So I picked, I pulled up this 20th century video from National Geographic. Okay, so I see that I've got a 28-minute video, grades 10 through 12. It's about worldwide economic collapse, right? So I have some descriptive information that helps me say, oh, okay, that kind of fits what I need. But you know what? I don't want to have to show a 28-minute video. So what we have done with our videos is we've segmented them. We've chaptered them, but we've taken it a step further. We've actually created subsegments within the chapters. So instead of having to put that 28-minute video into your flip chart, you can go down and say, okay, I really want to talk about the beginning of the Great Depression, and I really want to talk about automobile production. So I want to use this piece. So I identify, and if I'm not sure I want to use it, I can play just that piece really quick in my player and kind of see what it's going to look like and see if that makes sense for me. Okay? So I can go through, watch that video piece and go, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Or I go, man, I saw all of that information, but none of it really made sense to me. I kind of needed this piece and this piece, but I don't want to play all 4 minutes of it. We also give you the ability to take that video, play the entire thing, and then create your own segment. Okay, so that you can take the snippet that you want to reinforce the material in your flip chart. Once you do that, here's how you then would leverage that video and that content. Every single one of our videos, every single piece of our chapters, every subsegment of that content has a unique ID, a permanent link. So, yeah. When you're looking at your content, you see this link right here. So it says permanent link, okay? When I click on that, what that does is give me a listing of all of the unique permanent links for each of those subsegments and segments of that video. You can then copy and paste that link right onto your flip chart page. So that when you play that flip chart, you're logged into your system, you play that flip chart, you click on that link, what's going to happen? Well, if you're logged into your system, that link is then going to play that video snippet, that individual little piece, right from the Safari Montage server inside your flip chart. Okay, so now instead of taking and finding and downloading and embedding all of these video content, you can plug in the link and then manage the size of your flip charts and manage the ability to have multiple video segments throughout your flip chart, images throughout your flip charts, flash interactions within your flip chart by plugging those permanent links in where you want them to be reinforced in the flip chart. So you start to manage the